Hello, everyone, and welcome to Asians Do Football. My name is Sameer, and we've got Julian as well. And as the title suggests, we're starting a new series called The Reaction, and it says what it does on the tin. We're going to be reacting to the weekend's Premier League games, talking about controversial moments, talking about goals, talking about players that stood out, players that didn't stand out, what teams are missing, and all this good stuff. We're going to go through how the Premier League games were played. So naturally, we're going to start with Fulham and Arsenal, who kicked off the Premier League season, and we'll end with Brighton and Chelsea. So Julian's going to kick us off with Fulham and Arsenal. Julian, what's your analysis of that game?
3-0 Arsenal, can't ask for anything more. It was a great performance from Arsenal. Fulham, not so much. Being the promoted team, you can imagine. There's obviously excitement being back in the Premier League. It only took them a season to come back up. But yeah, they were just outclassed by Arsenal pretty much for the whole game. They actually did have an early chance early on. It was a really lazy back pass. I'm not sure if you remember, Sameer.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and it took, there was a bit of a miscommunication with Gabriel, our new signing, and Leno, but luckily Leno was alert to the danger, got a hand to it, and Kamara, luckily didn't go around and tap it home. But honestly, apart from that, for the rest of the game, it was a really good performance from Arsenal. 3-0, obviously, Lacazette scoring the first. Gabriel scoring the second on his debut. And Aubameyang doing what Aubameyang does, coming on from the left-hand side. And honestly, it's too good, honestly. The goal, just hitting it top corner. And the move itself was really, really good. Some standout performances. Willian obviously got 2 or 3 assists, depending on how you look at it. If the first shot counts as an assist, I'm not sure. But people are saying 3, some people are saying 2. He had a lot of doubters, especially from Arsenal fans. I personally really like the signing of him, and he's backed up on his first game. Obviously, it's Fulham. Don't want to get too excited, but he's got to play what is in front of him, and had a great debut for us. Another guy, Gabriel. Like I said, apart from that very early miscommunication, I don't even think it was his mistake. It was just a bit of miscommunication. If anything, it was Maitland-Niles that with the lazy back pass, but he won headers like his life depended on it. And honestly, he looks very assured. He played some progressive passes as well, so he's comfortable in the ball. And yeah, honestly, I'm excited for this defense. I'm excited for him to make his mark even more during the season. And exciting times for Arsenal. Yeah.
I think I totally agree with everything you said there. Arsenal had a really good game. As you mentioned, the players, Gabriel and Willian, probably the standout 2 Brazilians. Just touching on a Fulham bit, I was a little bit concerned by that performance. I know it's early days, but I just didn't see enough there. And that might just be compliment to Arsenal defending really well and stopping them. But it's early days, I don't think Fulham fans need to worry just yet. There's a lot of games to go, and we'll see how that progresses. Some standout performances for Fulham, not stand out in terms of like they changed the game or anything, because obviously they lost 3-0 and they won't be happy with that. But
yeah.
Reed in midfield was quite good. Progressive passes in the midfield, moving the ball along, was tidy with the ball and kept it moving. I didn't do anything crazy. And sometimes you just need that person that passes and moves the ball along, and it's a safe pair of hands. And secondly, I think everyone would point this out. Mitrovic looked really good when he came on. Looked sharp, strong as ever. Had a few sighters, putting a great cross in the middle and stuff like that. Obviously, you want him ideally to start for Fulham, but I think he had just a bit of a knock from the international duty. But
yeah,
Mitrovic will be starting for them generally, won't he? So I think that's more positive to see that Mitrovic is ready for the Premier League and hungry again. And they'll need his goals to stay up, I think.
100%.
Moving on to the next game. So I've got a few notes here. So Crystal Palace vs Southampton. Palace winning the game 1-0 thanks to Zaha. Touching on Zaha, I think looks a bit back to his best. A lot of people were rightly didn't put in the greatest performances last season. A lot of people were saying there's a hangover from the transfer rumours, like the Arsenal stuff, and then there's rumours of Bayern Munich and stuff like that, and that just didn't transpire. And then this summer again, he seems like he wanted to leave, and that didn't transpire again. So he seems to be like back to his best, concentrating on his football again. He was threatening, should have scored more goals, had 2 great opportunities that he should have scored as well. But he looks back to his best, and Crystal Palace in general looks really, really good. I think they didn't hold a lot of possession. Actually, they defended really, really well, but they didn't hold a lot of possession. Their pass accuracy was 50%, so that means only half their passes were completed.
Going back to the possession, they had 29%. versus the 71% Southampton.
Yeah.
So, but it's the
Yeah.
goals that counts. So
Yeah, exactly. And I think they're trying to go for more direct style. When I mean direct style, I don't mean like balls over the top. I think they're trying to get up the field a bit quicker and
yeah,
use Eze's and Zaha's and Ayew, Batshuayi when he comes in as well. Use their advantage space. And I think it worked really well against Southampton. I think Southampton will be disappointed. They struggled to get into their stride. They got to their stride towards the end. You had Adams had a great chance and Ings had a great. Adams probably should have scored, but I think that's more testament to the Palace keeper.
yeah,
And Ings had a good header as well, save. So Southampton came on strong towards the end, but it was too late by then, and they just didn't create enough chances. I think the biggest talking point maybe was Walter Peters had a red card that was
yeah.
rescinded. I think it was the right decision personally. I don't think it was a red card, and he didn't mean any malice by it. And generally, I think Walter Peters' performance is really good. He put a great crosser for the Ings chance, and it looks very promising. This looks like that's a good signing, but nothing to worry about for Southampton fans. I don't think. I think they just need to get into their stride a bit.
Yeah.
They've got Tottenham next, and then for Palace, they'll be happy to take the 3 points, and it's a good start for Roy Hodgson.
Yeah, exactly. So, like you said, Gaeta with 2 amazing saves actually from
Yeah.
Adams and Ings, as you said. Zaha, touching on him, he's that was his 50th league goal of his career. He scored.
Wow.
He only scored 4 last season, so he's already got 1. So hopefully,
Yeah.
as a Palace fan, you'd want him to hit at least double figures. But yeah, what's next, man? Liverpool against Leeds. That was a crazy game, wasn't it?
Probably the game of the round as a
Yeah,
neutral.
probably.
For those who don't know and who are new to the channel, me and Julian both are Arsenal fans. So for the neutral, it's an amazing game.
Yeah.
We'll start with Liverpool, and there's only one person. He's got a hat trick on the opening day. Mohamed Salah, what a player! I know 2 of them were penalties, but you still got to score them, put them back in there. There were 2 good penalties, but that middle goal, the second one, what a finish! Like, just took it down and smashed it top bins, and they had no chance whatsoever. So yeah, like I think Liverpool will be happy to get out there because at one point it didn't look like they would get out there with 3 points, and they would be have to settle for the 1 point. Liverpool were their normal best in terms of creating chances. They create a lot of chances. I think they need to work hard for their chances because I think Leeds' playing style let that happen. If that makes sense, the pressing style, and I think Liverpool did work quite well in moments to get out of that. And when they did get out of that, they were quite threatening. So I don't think they created chances. What they had to have issue was defensively. I think that's more testament to Leeds' play in the way they were pressing so high. But Liverpool did make silly mistakes, and there was a bit of arrogance as well. I felt about the defending as well. Like Trent was out of position a lot of the time. He had a really awful game. Van Dijk, when he tried to control that ball and Bamford scored it, seemed a bit arrogant. Like, I can just touch this away. And I think as a football player, you do need some arrogance. I'm not trying to blame Van Dijk, but I think just needs to be more concentration. And maybe they didn't take Leeds as seriously. But I think it's all of Leeds is making really, like, they put the hard numbers, and they ran all over the place. Create loads of great chances. They were penetrating. Phillips was their best player for me, spraying balls out wide really well and creating those attacks.
He got an assist as well. He got an assist for Harrison.
And it was a great ball and a great take by Harrison as well. But it's like fun stuff. What we expect from Leeds is fun. One thing I am worried about, I know their attacking was good. I'm a bit worried about the defending actually, because like I said, when you do get that press, it is like you got a lot of space to work with there.
Yeah.
And if Liverpool were tighter, they might not have needed the penalty at the end of the game to score that goal. So something to keep out on for Leeds. Like, attacking wise, exciting, but I'm a bit concerned as a neutral looking at them at their defence. And it's a step up, and you can probably afford to make more mistakes in Championship with defence. With the Premier League, you can't. So it'll be interesting to see how that style carries on throughout the season for them.
I think they're going to be okay. I think they'll be okay. They're like I said, I was surprised they scored 3 against the reigning champions. That was crazy. But yeah, they'll be fine. It's just it's so annoying that Rodrigo. This is why you don't have strikers in the box unless you're like an Andy Carroll, can head the ball away. Rodrigo stupidly just stuck his leg out, and
yeah, it's unfortunate.
Where there was a defender coming towards Fabinho as well that probably could have cleared it.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate. But exciting times for Leeds. Like everyone's been saying, it's like everyone's so excited to see them back in the Prem, and what a performance they put in against Liverpool. But moving on, West Ham Newcastle was the last game of Saturday. It was a funny one actually, because West Ham's been in the past few weeks. They've had the news about Dean Garner getting sold, Noble coming out, and they haven't done themselves any favors starting a football match how they did. It was poor from them, really. Newcastle, they look good. I'm not gonna lie. Wilson, he was all over the place. Uh, he's proven in the Premier League. He's just there, and he's gonna be a nuisance up front. He's great signing. Another player, Hendricks, obviously free from Burnley, got a goal and assist, and yeah, West Ham, they actually hit the woodwork twice from Fornals and Ogbonna, but honestly, it was lackluster. It was nothing exciting, nothing really happening. And yeah, it's just like, I mean, Declan Rice, he made his 100th Prem appearance, and he played some really nice balls. He did lose it a few times as well, I'm not gonna lie, but if he doesn't stay, I'll be very worried. We're very worried. But yeah, Jamal Lewis as well. I think he deserves a mention. He's going to be more assured in that defense. He's not going to be as exposed as last year with Norwich. St. Maximin was fouled like 100 times. Every time I looked at the screen, he was like on the floor rolling about. But if he gets into those good positions, he could win key free kick areas, and he could also win like penalties and stuff. So exciting stuff for Newcastle. Like I said, Wilson, a goal on his debut. Same with Hendricks, and yeah, it was. You have to see on a defensive point of view. It wasn't great from West Ham. It was poor goals to concede. Like on the first one, Fornals was beaten too easily by Manquillo. Hendricks wanted it more, got the flick on, and again Wilson was just there to like tap it in. And that's his eighth goal in 9 games against West Ham. So. Like he even said himself when he signed, like he loves to go against West Ham. So, and he got another one. So yeah, West Ham's got a lot to do, and Newcastle will be happy with opening day win.
I think Julian covered it really nicely there. The only thing I'd add is like from the Newcastle front point of view is like they seem to have a bit more of a presence up front. Just in their whole attacking team as a unit, I think they had more presence. And Hendrick and St. Maximin Wilson, like you mentioned, even Carroll contributed to all of that. So
exactly.
So yeah, it looks promising times for Newcastle, and it's interesting to see how they develop because obviously it's one game and it's, as you mentioned, against a poor West Ham team.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Should we go to Sunday?
Let's do it, bro.
I was quite disappointed when I saw the Sunday games because they started so late, in my opinion. I was like, where's the 12 o'clock kickoff on it? It was a bit later than that. But it was West Ham versus Leicester. Leicester running out 3-0 winners. Some players to point out for West Brom, first of all, because they were the whole team. Pereira looked good. I think someone we mentioned in our the review series, that someone that is finding pockets of space and was easily finding them. His teammates were finding quite easy. So he looks like a player. In general, West Brom didn't play that well at all. They actually experimented with something because Blitch mentioned this. Like they played with a back 3 or 5, depending how you want to look at it. And I don't think it worked out for them. Blitch did admit that they hadn't practiced it that much, but he felt the team could produce it. And it looked okay early on. West Brom did look promising, but as soon as Leicester got into their stride, they found the holes in that in the midfield and the defence, and it didn't really work out. So it'd be interesting to see what Blitch does if he sticks to that or he goes back to the 4-back that they were using in the Championship. So they experimented a bit, and there's no harm experimenting, I think, especially early on. Like nothing's set in stone.
Yeah.
West Brom lacked a striker for me. Still, like just wasn't enough going forward. The wingers weren't doing good enough either. But it's early days again. Like we'll see what happens and how that progresses. But I think they just need a bit more going forward, and it'll be interesting to see if they dip into the market to do that again. I think they need to. But Blitch is obviously the manager. He might think differently. Leicester got slowly into their stride again. A bit like Southampton, but the difference was probably that Leicester got into it quite quickly after that. I think there was 20 minutes of West Brom doing quite well, and then Leicester took over the game essentially. And Barnes did really well. He had so many chances in the first half of that.
He's so good, honestly.
I was like, why is this guy not scoring? His finishing is so poor. He needs to score those goals.
Yeah.
He had a lot of chances there. Vardy was quite quiet until to the penalties. But as we said with Salah, you got to put the penalties away. It's not a forward conclusion that you're always going to score a penalty. So he's put them away. He's done what he needs. What I noticed by Leicester were their penetrating passes were so good. Soyuncu did really, really good penetrating passes. Talisman was getting that hole and penetrating passes. And Maddison came on towards the end of the game as well, which is a good sign for Leicester fans because he's one of their better players and someone that you would want to see starting. And it was good to see for him to get some minutes as well. But yeah, you got Just on the left, looked a bit uncomfortable for me. He's more used to the right. But yeah, I think overall for Leicester, it was a really good game. They'll be happy. West Brom, some things to work on.
You say that, Sameer. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really watch the game. But from the highlights, the extended highlights I've seen, Justin, you say he looked uncomfortable on the left, but he got the assist and he got the pre-assist for the first goal from Castagna. And I was watching that goal back, and honestly, the defending was a shambles. Pratt, he gets the ball on the edge of the box, gives it to Justin. He runs, and Livermore just is ball watching. Justin plays the ball, to the line. What's it? Bar line or something?
Bar line, yeah.
Bar line. Stands it up, and Gibbs actually sees Castagna. He's actually on the right side. He's on goal side.
Yeah.
And he doesn't jump or anything. He just lets Castagna jump and, 1-0. And it's like, if West Ham, we predicted West Ham being one of the teams to get relegated. And if they're going to concede goals like this, who can argue that point, right? And as you said, I don't see they don't have any striker that excites me. And they're going to rely heavily on Pereira and Dean Garner, but they're two young guys as well. So, yeah, not a great start, 3-0, but we move on. As an Arsenal fan, it was a great match next. Spurs versus Everton, and Everton running out with a 1-0 win, and deservedly so. I think it could have been more. They just I think they dominated the game from start to finish. They didn't. The three signings, Alain Decore and James, looked like they played in that team for the past couple of years, and they didn't look out of sorts at all. This is probably the first time I've seen Alan play properly because I obviously don't watch much Serie A, but he was everywhere, and he was like progressive passes, tracking back, making tackles. I think he made the most tackles in Serie A for the last couple of years, or it's definitely last year, I think. So he's amazing. Decore doing his job as well. Hammers, there was times where he was like, it was 3 against 1, and he was just getting out of the pockets, and it was a great solid performance overall. The goal, I forgot he was fouled, but Everton did take it a few yards ahead, but the delivery from Digne and the header from Calvert-Lewin,
what header?
Regardless of what, I mean, it probably would have made a difference, but you still need to put the ball in and get up and head it. So that was a fantastic goal. On the other side, Spurs, Doherty and Højbjerg didn't look great. I don't know if it's fatigue or I don't know what it is, but I'm sure they'll come good because they're quality players. So start of the season, even Spurs' star men like Kane and Son didn't really play great. Son created a few chances. It's Kane only touched the ball twice in Everton's box in 90 minutes. So that says it all, right? But I'm sure Spurs will bounce back. They've got Southampton next, I believe. So
yeah, Southampton.
He is right, yeah. So we'll see what happens. There's rumours that Bale might come in, which will just transform the whole team, take them up a level. And Reguilon from Real Madrid, who won the Europa League with Sevilla last year, apparently he's really close to signing. So him and Ben Davies are two very good left-back options. So, as a Spurs, for Spurs fans, I wouldn't worry too much. Obviously, it's not the best way to start, but they'll be fine. I think they'll still be.
I think I'm a bit more worried than you have just said. I think the Bale rumor is getting stronger, and I think that could change my opinion on everything. But
yeah,
they locked a lot of patterns. Like there's no pattern to their play. It's like let's just try something and see if it works. They didn't press with intent. Everton got out quite easily. It's very uninspiring, and you just didn't see where the chances were coming from. Like I think you mentioned Son, yeah, he had one of the better games as a Tottenham player, which wasn't hard really compared to everyone else's performances. he was the little spark they had. Kane was quiet. I think Ali was playing decently until I don't know why Mourinho took him off. Mourinho said tactical reasons, but I think that made it even more difficult for Tottenham because I think Ali was actually getting the holes and stuff and was providing space and stuff like that. And Alan had to watch him quite quick. Alan had to watch him quite importantly because he didn't want him to get away. And I think it was wrong decision from Mourinho, but obviously he gets to pay the millions, and I just talk about it on YouTube. So who really knows what's going on? But on the other side, like you said, Everton very impressive. Alan really good.
Yeah.
Richarlison really good. One of my favourite players in the Premier League, and Cavalier, what a great header! And it looks like good signs for Everton. I'm surprised how quickly they've gelled together. And Ham is quality, and he's put it all together. So it's exciting time for Everton. I think people are excited to see what they got next. Touching on that next game, Julian, which was yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Monday. I've lost my days, obviously. Monday, Sheffield United versus Wolves.
Yeah.
What a start for Wolves there. Opening 10 minutes, like 2-0 up already.
6 minutes.
Touching on Sheffield United. Yeah, just touching on Sheffield United firstly. I have a few notes on them. So no one really stood out for me, Sheffield United. I think another team that took their time to get into their stride. I think those 2 early goals made it difficult for them in terms of Wolves could just chill out. They didn't need too much emphasis, didn't need to push too much. I think Sheffield United came into the game in the end and they applied pressure. And I don't think there's anything to worry about. I still see no signs of second season syndrome. I think Wolves were a better team and took their chances at the time of. And I think Sheffield United put decent pressure on. But again, like we mentioned, Julian, in our review series and the prediction of the table series, they need a striker. And rumours are saying that Brewster rumours are getting a bit more stronger and they've agreed a deal apparently, maybe. And some people are saying, but no reputable journalists are saying that at the moment. So that's to be seen. But I do think they need that striker. Maybe Brewster is a guy. So they need to create chances, just need someone to score them.
Yeah.
On the Wolves end, Jimenez, as we said, the complete striker. I think probably the most complete striker in the Premier League. Just as everything, header, decent pace, dribble. That's a great finish as well. He's just passed it into the net to a certain degree. He's just caressed it into the net. Made it look so easy. You think okay, I'm gonna go out and do that in the park.
Just go over the bar.
Yeah, just go over the bar. But Jimenez straight to his fighting best, and it looks like he's gonna be a talisman again as ever, and he's gonna score goals. Adama Traore did well at the right wing back as well. I thought obviously the Doherty. So we interested to see if Traore is a permanent player that plays there, or they're gonna look to sign someone. But yeah, they looked back to the best, and the signings they made. Podence is coming well. Neto played really well as well. You didn't even need Neves either. I think Dendoncker did really well. So yeah, positive side for Wolves. I think they'll just carry on as we know they did last season. And Sheffield United, I don't think there's anything to worry about.
Yeah, I mean Sheffield, they probably should have scored. They played a lot of great balls. Excuse me, down the left hand side. Fleck hit the post. So yeah, like you say, I don't think Sheffield has anything to worry about. Sace, I like Sace. He could have had a hat trick, to be honest. Scored from
he should have.
It was a great header actually. It was quite far away from the goal. Maybe Ramsey could have done better. The guy on the line, I'm not sure, but that was a great goal. Then he had another header in the second half. Should have scored, and then he had a shot which Ramsey saved. So imagine he got a hat trick. But yeah, Wolves looking really good. And like you said, Sheffield, nothing to worry about. Moving on to the last game of the weekend, Brighton against Chelsea, 3-1 winners away for Chelsea. And was it deserved? I'm not sure. Probably, but Brighton looked really impressive. Standout player for me was Lamptey.
Yeah.
On the right, honestly, he was bombing up and down, and he got the assist as well for the goal. Who was it? Trossard who scored. There's a stat actually that was Kepa's 19th goal conceded from shots outside the box. 19 goals. That's crazy. There's all these memes that if you want to score against Chelsea, just shoot outside the box. So I don't know, man. It's a tough one for Kepa. I'm sure he's gonna They're still trying to buy the goalkeeper from Rennes, I think.
Yeah, Mendy.
Yeah, Mendy. Yeah. So when he comes in, does he go straight into the team? That will knock Kepa's confidence so much. But for the other signings, Werner won a penalty, which Jorginho take. As a fantasy football manager, I was hoping he'd take it, but Jorginho, I think he scored 5 in 5 now or something like that. So he's not gonna get off the penalties until at least he misses one. Havertz was okay. He wasn't. I wasn't really too impressed with him. But then again, he's only joined a week or so ago.
Yeah.
He's probably had a handful of training sessions. There was one, I'm sure you can find it on Twitter. There was no one around him, and he just smacks the ball out of play, and it's like, okay then. But in the first half, he actually played a really good through ball to Werner.
Yeah.
He took out 3 players, so that shows his quality as well. And near the end of the game, he ran like something like 70, 80 yards or something crazy to put in a tackle, which could have been, I don't know if it was 3-1 at that point. I'm not too sure.
I think it was 3-1 at that point, but still, to put the effort in.
But yeah, going back to Brighton, it probably should have been 2-2. Because Dunk, he literally, I think he was trying to finesse the header too much. Just headed the ball, and if Kepa saves it because it's blank, he saves it. But to miss it completely from, I don't know, 5 yards out, you just got to take the chance and just put your head on it, and that would have been a different game, But yeah, I think another person to mention, James, Reece James. What a goal! Was it 30 yards, 25 yards, something like that? Just bangs it, and top corner. As an England fan, it's so nice to see, the right backs coming up. We've got Kyle Walker. He's getting older now. Trent Alexander-Arnold. People forget he's only, I don't even know if he's 22 yet. So he's still very young. Lamptey, like I said. Even Kyle Walker-Peters, as we mentioned. I'm not sure if he's England international quality, but he's, again, still young. And Reece James now as well. So, it's looking very, very promising on that front for England fans. But, 3-1, maybe a bit lucky on Chelsea, because I don't think they played great, but what do you think?
It's an interesting one. I don't think Chelsea deserved it, but they did what they needed to do to get the win. Like I said, I think very impressed with Lamptey, like you mentioned, probably Brighton's best player, and I think Brighton made good shapes, created good chances, like you mentioned, the dunk chance. I think they need a striker. I think Montpellier wasn't as evolved as I liked him, and I think they do need a better striker. Now they are in the market for a striker, but they're trying to find something that will work for Brighton, like Price, and someone that is better quality than Montpellier. It's not easy out there for a team like Brighton to find someone like that. So I think there's promising signs, and me and Julian talked about how good we think Brighton's defence will be. And I know they conceded 3 goals, but they did look confident outside those 3 goals. Like you mentioned, Chelsea.
Yeah, and then like I said with Chelsea, last year they probably would have drawn that game or even possibly lose it. But it's good signs that they got through it. They rode the waves, because Brighton, they had chances, and exactly. They still came out winners. So there's an improvement there already.
I think, like you said, James really good for Chelsea. Played really, really well on that right movement. There's just no patterns from Chelsea. It's frustrating. And they've gelled. They haven't gelled where Everton have, and it's going to take a bit of time. And Werner said he was struggling with that bump with the keeper. After that, he's had a bit of a dead leg kind of thing, so he was struggling a bit. They struggled so much for the final pass. Loftus-Cheek, so many times could have played someone through, and it's just his touch and his passing was so bad. And when Barkley came on, that improved that team a little bit. So and Havertz I'm not worried about. Just new and he's hasn't much training.
Give them a few weeks, especially when Pulisic comes back, when Ziyech comes back. Exactly. They're going to be an amazing team.
It'd be interesting to see their game against Liverpool. Obviously, the highlight of the next weekend's fixtures. Be interesting to see how they do that. What's Werner's relationship with that Liverpool defence?
What's the prediction? 5-5? 6-6?
I actually think Liverpool will win that just because Chelsea haven't gelled as quickly.
Yeah.
I think they'll be stronger. I think it'll be tight still. I'll probably think like a 2-1 to Liverpool, I think.
I just want to see a good football game. But
that'll be good.
We'll see.
Julian, I think that is a good roundup of this weekend's games just gone. Have you got anything to add before we close this one off?
Just the same old stuff. If you like the video, please press the like button. That really helps us out. We're going to be doing this every weekend, right?
Yeah, every weekend.
Rounding up. So, hopefully you enjoyed our review series. This is going to be, a new series. As Sameer said at the beginning, we're going to be talking about all the games during the weekend. Hit that like, as I said, that subscribe button as well, and turn on the notification bells because we're going to be again, chiming out all the videos for you guys as soon as possible. But until next time, take care.
See ya.